पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. So welcome to our Saturday morning session. So last week we talked about mind and meditation. Now we will talk a little bit more about mind, because as Upanishads say, and we also know, that mind is the most important factor in our day-to-day life. Mind keeps controlling our activities. It has the tendency to vacillate. It is never stable. And most of the time, it is not under our control. Actually, it controls us very often. And we are driven by mind. So one thing which we have to inculcate in ourselves is how to regulate the mind, how to realize that there's a mind and we are able to regulate it. This is one of the most important aspects of meditation as well, because we direct the mind during the meditation. But this realization in day-to-day activities is not that easy. This will come only when we reflect every day, in the morning and in the evening, at least for 5 minutes, that what are the activities which I did on my own and which I did because the mind directed me to do. How the thought process is going on in the mind. How many thoughts are coming and which thoughts are dragging me. Like sometimes you open your mail. You want to check mail and respond to those mails which are useful. But you get lost in the process because there are many, temptations which are there on the internet, even on the mail, and you forget to answer the mails which you need to answer, or forget to carry on the work which you need to carry on. Because those temptations drive us, we are taken away. Now that is the function of the mind. Mind takes you away. You forgot what you wanted to do. Like Dinesh just now said that a phone call came and he forgot about the session today. Now that is also a function of the mind. That the mind driven you somewhere else. It took you up somewhere else. And this happens very often to all of us. This is not specific to XYZ. But we have to become conscious of this fact. This fact should be realized that when I directed the mind and when mind was directing me. And this realization comes when you keep reflecting on yourself periodically, at least twice a day, that what are the activities I did today which were driven by my mind, and which are the activities I did when I drove the mind. Now that exercise is very important. To inculcate that habit is very, very essential to restrain the mind and to become the master of the mind. Mind, as I mentioned last time, actually gives at least 4,000 to 6,000 thoughts every single day. Even in a minute, you may have 10, 12, 15 thoughts depending on the moment. When you sit down and you reflect, you would realize it. So this reflection is an exercise which we should do, each one of us should do, whenever you get time. It's not necessary that you have to sit, cross-legged and on the ground and do a sort of meditation posture. That's not necessary. You can sit anywhere and reflect. It's manan, it's meditation inside. That will help us. So that is one thing we have to inculcate. Now, the other important thing of mind is that it actually is driven sometimes by sense organs. Sense organs drive the mind. Normally, the mind controls the sense organs, but sometimes sense organs drive the mind. How that happens? For example, you go to a shopping mall and you see a beautiful, piece of jewelry. You thought, let's buy this. Now that attraction of the jewelry, that is in the senses. Senses acquire that attraction, and then the mind is driven to that, whether it is needed or not needed. You want to buy a cell phone or you want to buy something else, which is not even needed by you. You are tempted. So the sense organs are also attracted by the world outside in variety of ways. You see a beautiful person and your eyes are attracted. And then, you forget everything else and you are driven there. Your mind is completely driven to that, point by the sense organs. So the sense organs also play an important role in driving the mind. So we have to be conscious. That is very important. First of all, we have to be conscious that when we are driven by the mind and the sense organs. In fact, in chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says that even one single sense sometimes can drive the mind as the wind drives the boat on the water. The same way, the mind can be driven by sense organs. So this relationship we have to understand, that how to be conscious when our senses are driving the mind, when our mind is driving us, and when we are driving the mind. These are the three instances which happen to each one of us, and I think we should notice that very carefully. Now, we have something called ahar in Sanskrit. Ahar. Ahar means, normally we understand that what we are eating, that is ahar. But that is not the actual meaning of word ahar in Sanskrit. Ahar could be even for mind and sense organs. Whatever is fed to the mind becomes, ahar of mind. Whatever is fed to the senses is also the ahar of senses. And of course, the other ahar is the food which we eat, which is to satisfy our hunger. So we have to keep track of that ahar, what we are feeding to the mind. Now, sometimes we, spend our time, we watch films, we listen to the music, we listen to lots of messages which keep coming on WhatsApp. Sometimes we just listen to the news or, something else. Now, in all this, we have to exercise our discretion. Whether that kind of scene which we are watching, whether that kind of sound which we are hearing, is it going to help us or is it going to vacillate our mind more? If the mind is going to be vacillated more by that kind of ahar, we should avoid that. It is very important in today's world, because I have seen people completely stressed without any reason because of this kind of feed to the mind and to the senses. I think that can be avoided only when, firstly, you are not tempted too much to the world. If you actually, in our age, if we can practice staying more at home, then the temptations would be less. And we should find some useful way to spend our time rather than to watch TV or to listen to useless things. It would be better to remain engaged. For example, watching a match or a sport would be better than watching a film which will drive your mind here and there and keep putting stress on your mind. Sometimes that is one of the reasons why in the olden days people used to sit together and sing bhajans and prayer, because then the mind will be not distracted to anything else. You can sit down in a group or all alone, listen to some devotional music or bhajans that will cool down your mind. There are some, methods, particularly in the evening, in the night. In the evening, the mind becomes little more restless. And that is the time when we have this thing called Sandhya. Sandhya means basically this time of Sandhi, when the day and the evening they come together. And that time is more vacillating for the mind. And that is why that is the time either you go for a walk, go in a garden, watch the birds coming back, or see the sunset, or you sit down and listen to some devotional music at home, so that the vacillation of mind would be less and less. This is an exercise which is very important to, remove this so-called, you know, great fluctuations in mental thoughts. Then, related to this, if we can remove some of these feeds into sense organs, uh, whenever the sense desires something and you obey those instructions, then obviously sense organs demand more and more and more. So we have to make a conscious effort to regulate the aha to the sense organs and to the mind, so that our mind becomes more stable. स्थिरता, that is what we इस बिना स्थिरता के शांति नहीं हो सकती. So we need to stabilize the mind to attain peace. And when we attain the peace, our anger and our greed will also slowly go down. This does not happen overnight, but slowly, slowly it happens. So that is what I thought I'll mention. But in addition to that, I also wanted to deal with two words, because these two words will be quite significant when we proceed to our next Upanishad. These two words are upasana and vasana. Vas means to live inside, like Isa Vasya Upanishad, Isa Vasya Midam, that Paramatma sab jagah rehta hai. So Vas means people or whatever thoughts or whatever things are living inside, that is Vas. Nivas, like we live in a house, that is also called Nivas. Now, Vasana is basically the desires which live inside us, which keep directing us in a different ways. Do this, do that, listen to this music, go and see that. This is a beautiful new, film which has come. Let's go and see this. Oh, this is a new building. This is a new hotel, and this is a new restaurant. So all these, desires to go and see new and new. This is part of vasana. Or vasana could also be in the form of food habits, in the form of music, in the form of travel, in the form of seeing pictures or seeing, any place or whatever. There are many manifestations of vasana. So vasana is basically the desires which are directing us all the time. And the mind remains restless because of these vasanas. And upasana. Now, upasana is the word. Up means near. Sit near. Now, upasana is referred to sitting near to the Supreme, sitting near to Paramatma. So, sitting near does not mean that you sit down in a temple. Sitting near means that when you are sitting, the Supreme is with you, or your mind is with the Supreme. You are, you can imagine an image of the Supreme. If somebody believes or prefers an image of Krishna or Rama or Shiva or any like goddess Durga, whatever image you prefer, you take that image and sit with that image close to you. And then in your mind, you visualize that all the time. Close your eyes, visualize that, and sit with that. Don't do anything else. Just keep visualizing that image in your mind. That would be upasana. That you are sitting next to the Supreme. Supreme is with you, you are with the Supreme. You connect to the Supreme. Like, we have this transformer of electricity. Now, if you are connected to the transformer, you set up an electrical connection, then the electricity comes to your home. But the transformer is there, but if you are not connected, the electricity will not come. Similarly, the Supreme is everywhere. But if we are not connected to the Supreme, then that realization of the Supreme inside us will not come. That realization will come only when we sit next to the Supreme and connect with Him. This connection is very important. And that connection is called Upasana, nothing else. Upasana is not going and sitting in a temple, it is going and sitting next to the Supreme wherever you are, in whatever place you are sitting. In your mind, if you have the image of the Supreme, if you visualize the image of the Supreme, and you are sitting next to Him, then the connection will come into operation and you will be connected to the Supreme. You will get energy from Him. You will get inspiration from Him. And all your, distracting process will stop. So this is also in a way a part of meditation. That you are connecting to the Supreme, you are sitting with Him, and you are distressing yourself. Your mind is going away. Like, for example, when I went to Kumbh Mela, there are millions of people there, sitting there, people running, rushing. But you sit down quietly on the banks of Ganges and you visualize the Supreme in front of you and you just relax there for few minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You are invigorated because that connection empowers you, that connection energizes you, that connection cools you down, that connection gives you the eternal happiness. So that is what Upasana is. So we should get away from Vasana slowly, slowly and come to Upasana. Now, if you are very close to the desires all the time, then you are doing Upasana of those desires. Then that is not Upasana in the real spiritual sense. Then that is really a Vasana. But if you drive away yourself from those desires and sit close to the Supreme, even for 5-10 minutes in a day, I think you will re-energize yourself. You will distress yourself. A new thinking process will come and your mind will start stabilizing. So I think this is extremely important that we all should do this exercise at home, 5 to 10 minutes every day, maybe in 2 lots or 3 lots. When you are, for example, in the morning, after breakfast or before breakfast, sit down quietly, wherever, doesn't matter where you sit. Then meditate yourself. How do I do things so that I'm not driven by mind? The thing we should. How can I visualize this whole universe is pervaded by the Supreme? How can I visualize that the Supreme is residing in myself? If we think on these questions, then the vasana will drive away and we will slowly, slowly come closer to the Supreme. Now, one exercise which I started some time ago, that whenever you sit down for eating your meal, the image of the Supreme should come in front of you. That He is the one who has provided you this meal. You enjoy this meal with His blessings and be happy. Now, every meal you take, you recall the Supreme before you start eating. Try this. It will not be easy, I can assure you, but slowly, slowly it will happen. You will start eating, you will not remember anything. And then little later you will say, oh, I forgot. But if you practice this every day, you will start changing and you will remember the Supreme every time you start your meal. So I think we have to connect with the Supreme from time to time in the day. Whatever you are doing, connect with Him. That connection will lead to Upasana, and that connection will lead you to distress, to stabilize your mind, to go away from Vasana, and to be the driver of your mind and your senses. So this is a very important aspect of our daily practice. We can start two things. One is 2 times in a day, 5 minutes, we sit quietly and reflect what things I did which were driven by mind, where I was driven by mind, what wrong I did, and where I drove the mind and I, prevailed over senses. So this exercise, 2 times a day. And this exercise that every time you eat your meal or you take your shower, you come close to the Supreme. You remember Him, that He is there. He is blessing you. He has given you the beautiful meal, delicious meal, which will nourish your body. Just think about it. You will realize that things are changing. It's not it looks very simple, but it will not happen. First time when you try this, you will realize that it is not that easy. You start eating your meal, you don't remember anything. But slowly, slowly it will happen. Your thinking process will change. You will become closer to the Supreme. And because of that, your mind will stop vacillating. The vacillation of mind will reduce substantially if you do this exercise every day. And once the vacillation of mind stops, the anger and greed will automatically go down. Anger and greed comes because of desires, because of vasana. And upasana is the way to tackle that issue. So upasana, come closer to the Supreme. Every time connect with Him whenever you can, wherever you are. You don't have to do a formal puja or a formal ritual to go to a temple. You can do that, of course. That's all so very good. In fact, if you can spend some time in a temple, in an atmosphere where there's a lot of good energy, nothing wrong. It's very good. But if it is not possible to go to the temple, if it is not possible to have the company of satsangis who are singing and dancing and uh, spending time with the Supreme, you can do it yourself. So I thought I'll mention these two, three things because the next Upanishad which will take, Mundak Upanishad, that is the Upanishad which is designed to bring us closer to the Supreme. It is designed to enhance our upasana, that we remain oriented with the Supreme more and slowly we remember Him constantly all the time. So this is also was mentioned in Bhagavad Gita indirectly. And Lord Krishna said that those people who remember me constantly all the time, I take care of them. योगक्षेम, मैं उनका योगक्षेम अपने आप कर देता हूँ. I help them in unity with the Supreme, and also the process of reaching that Supreme, how to tackle that process. So Yoga and Shem both are taken care of by the Supreme if we are connected with Him constantly, and this is possible through daily exercise. This is not possible through casual approach. We have to make an effort every day, 2-3 times a day. Remember the Supreme, connect with Him in whatever manner you want to connect. Slowly, you will realize that you have become very close to Him, and that is called Upasana. In fact, some of the spiritual teachers tell you that you know, you visualize the image of the god which you like the most. You can choose whatever you like. The image of Ram or Krishna or Shiva or Durga or Parvati or whatever image you like. And try to visualize that image again and again and again during the daytime. And that is the way we can connect with Him. So I'll stop here today. And as we discussed last time, I would request now 2-3 minutes from each of you to give me your little feedback on 2-3 things. That is your mind more stable today than it was, say, 1 year ago? The vacillation is less. That is one thing. Secondly, do you feel more contented in yourself? The happiness which you are looking for outside is coming from inside. So you are more contented, happier inside yourself. And then your anger and greed, have they diminished than they were, say, about a year ago? So some feedback on that would be useful. So I'll request each one of you to speak for 3-4 minutes so that we get a good, what you call analysis that what we did in the last 1 year. Thank you.